Maddie claimed her position as one of the most popular flying hybrids in the hybrid wars, it was of no surprise that everyone and their mother started asking me to start my own hybrid war. So, after thinking it over and a lot of planning, the Sky Hybrid Wars are upon us! But first, we're going to need some proper combatants. Not only will Maddie receive a slightly upgraded form, but she will also be gaining a partner in crime, in the form of a creature that actually predates her.
Allow me to shed some light on the subject.
A long time ago, back when Jurassic World Alive was, fun, I made up fictional hybrids and apexes that could theoretically exist in the game. The first of these fan-made apexes was Valkyrie, a pteranodon that was modified to look like Vault's Beyblade, Victory Valkyrie. Fast forward a few years and it eventually got an upgraded form based on Ultimate Valkyrie. And today it will be upgraded once again. Only this time, it'll be designed to fit in the world of realism instead of its original fantasy world. So in a nutshell, I've provided myself with a very unique challenge. Not only am I making an adept aerial combatant that is worthy of the title of King of the Skies, but I also need to make sure it resembles the original Valkyrie Dawn. So with all this information in mind, the most practical thing to do is to take some form of Azdarkid and then fuse it with the head of another pterosaur that has a crest similar to Valkyrie Dawn. And we want to make sure this thing is about as tall as a human being the sweet spot between dealing with smaller flyers and larger flyers alike. When I'm finished with all the modifications, of course. Thankfully, there's already a pterosaur that checks all the marks. The Thalassodromeus. This crest shape is probably the closest we're ever going to get to having a Valkyrie Dawn IRL. And after some selective gene modification, we can actually get it to slightly resemble the original crown. Furthermore, even though this isn't an Azdarkid, it still has the Azdarkid body plan, meaning we have a well-rounded creature to start off with. Something adept at flying, walking, hunting, and a strong neck to support that massive head of his. Now, to be fair, this won't be the fastest flyer in the skies, considering it's not as big as a Quetzalcoatlus, but that's not the goal of this hybrid. The goal is to make something that's optimized for smash attacks, just like the real Valkyrie Beyblade. So, where do we begin? How about the legs? Pterosaurs use all 4 limbs for propulsion and flying, but most of that power comes from the arms. So to strengthen these legs without adding too much weight, we'll bring in the Haast Eagle, providing the same benefits that gave Maddie her powerful grip and talons. However, this Thal will have a bit more dexterity thanks to the addition of the African Grey Parrot. Zygodactyl feet with the grip and talons of the Haast Eagle basically give this hybrid a stronger version of the Osprey's feet. Now, I'm not completely sure how much pterosaurs can carry under their own power, but these modifications means the hybrid should at least be able to carry objects that weigh its own body weight. But this thing ain't gonna be carrying accessories into battle. These edits are added to assist with latching onto larger targets with its legs and arms. Arms? How is it gonna use its arms? With the addition of the pterosaur with the greatest nickname in history, the Monkeydactyl, a recently discovered pterosaur that got its title thanks to its thumbs. Yeah, this pterosaur has opposable thumbs. So now this pterosaur can use its arms or legs to grab opponents and throw them off course. It also has the ability to latch onto surfaces like cliff sides, tree trunks. It might even be able to hang upside down, although not for extended periods of time. But in order to take on the big boys, we're gonna have to start talking about the business end of things. Now, to avoid any lawsuits with the Final 16's Valkyriopteryx, and to promote the art of originality, and to stay close to the Beyblade roots, we're going to avoid turning this beak into a spear and go down a completely different route by turning it into a sledgehammer instead! Quetz from Discord is going to like this edition because we'll be adding a terror bird into the mix. But not just any terror bird, we're using the Andalgolornis. You've never heard of it? Why, out of all the killer ostriches out there, this one has the strongest neck muscles, allowing it to perform powerful strikes at its prey. Which is exactly what we need for the Thal. When it latches onto a large Azdarkid, with these muscles and a shorter yet thicker beak, it can hammer into them. But wait, hammers are made of metal, and this beak is only made of keratin. For now. Everyone give a warm welcome to the return of the Vampire Bat, granting this Thal all of Maddie's perks and more. The first benefit being iron distribution, resulting in an iron beak and iron talons. Not only will this give the hybrid a sharper grip on the competition, but anything on the other end of that beak is sure to be met with a burst finish. Whether it's a concussion or a broken wing, this Thal will know exactly where to strike thanks to the brain. What, you thought I was only using the parrot for its feet? No, we're also going to be using its brain. Now, you can argue amongst yourselves which is smarter, parrots or corvids. Don't actually argue like that was a joke. But parrots ain't dum-dums, I can tell you that much. Here's the proof.
What's this called?
Shrek?
What's this called?
Rock?
No.
Rock.
No.
Shrek.
What's this called?
Glass.
It's made of glass. What's this called?
Glass.
No. It's made of...
Shrek.
What's this called?
Oil.
No.
Shrek.
You know, a parrot voice is nice, but the only thing better than that is the larynx of the lyrebird. This was another bird that frequently popped up in the comment section of Maddie's video. And even though African gray parrots have really good vocabulary when you teach them,
What's this called?
adding the lyrebird's larynx to this hybrid will basically turn it into... Combined with its intelligence, it can use all kinds of sounds to set traps, cause diversions, or become the loudest broadcast tower, alerting everyone to his location, becoming even louder thanks to its clacking beak. We'll come back to this later. Additionally, the lyrebird also means that we can add some decorative feathers to the tail, but not too many. We don't want unnecessary drag during flight, even though this isn't a speed build. We should probably do something about that. No, I don't mean I'm going to increase its speed. I mean we're going to increase its overall senses. Starting with the Host Eagle for vision. While not the absolute best eyes in the bird world, they will work satisfactory for what we need, considering the fact that Host Eagle is already contributing to the genome, so we might as well use an ingredient that's already active rather than add a whole new ingredient just for eyes. Especially when all the other senses are about to skyrocket in usability. And most of it is coming from the Vampire Bat. Seriously, this little cutie is too OP. Just like Maddie, this Thal will have thermal vision. But unlike Maddie, this Thal will be given bat ears to improve hearing and to assist with echolocation. This already gives it a busted navigation system. But to really ensure nothing can sneak up on this guy, we're giving him vulture perks. Since we don't need the Argentavis to boost the size like we did with Maddie, we can just rely on the perks of the turkey vulture. This means in addition to its strong sense of smell, this Thal now has a very good immune system and a strong stomach designed to devour carcasses. And additionally, this Thal can vomit a corrosive acid that can melt his enemies when he's too scared or stressed. Just want to clarify that this is a last resort kind of thing. This is not the opening move. Oh, hey, that's the entire genome. Oh, wait, there's also the hooded patooey for poison. But that's only active when the Thal has access to all the ingredients necessary to create the poison. So there's no guarantee that this thing is actually poison. It's kind of an on or off situation. It's just added to act as a last line of defense. But let's recap the other ingredients. Thalassodromius for the base. Host Eagle for legs, talons, and eyes. African Gray Parrot for zygodactyl feet and brain. Monkey Dactyl for hands, Turkey Vulture for strong stomach, immune system, and sense of smell, and Dalgalornis for neck muscles and shorter yet thicker beak. Vampire Bat being the MVP once again for thermal sensors, bat ears, echolocation, iron distribution, and anticoagulant saliva, and overall just a lot of synergy with the Azdarkits. Maybe this thing really can hang upside down. Lyrebird for decorative tail feathers and hooded patooey, which may add poison, but not all the time. All we need now is a name. As tempting as it is to call it Valkyrie Dawn 3.0, I just know everyone's gonna think I stole Valkyriopteryx, even though Valkyrie Dawn isn't named after Valkyriopteryx, which is named after the Valkyries, but it's instead named after Valt's Beyblade, Valtryek, but in Japan it's called Valkyrie, as it's named after the Valkyries. Where am I going with this? Anyway, being transferred over from the realm of fantasy to the world of realism with a brand new look warrants a brand new name. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Volans Malleus, the Flying Hammer. And to stay true to his Beyblade roots, he shall be named after Valkyrie's owner, Vault. Now, he may not be the fastest pterosaur in the world, but his advanced senses ensure that he can detect foes before they detect him. He can crush smaller enemies with his feet, grab similar-sized foes with his hands to throw them off course, and can latch onto larger opponents and slam into their wings, backs, heads, or wherever is necessary to send them on a one-way ticket back down to Earth. So is this creature truly the greatest flyer to ever live? No. Speed is still an important factor in aerial combat. Doesn't matter if you know something is coming at you if you don't have the reaction time to avoid it. And admittedly, parrot plus lyrebird DNA could result in a loud and quirky hybrid. Like, he can be stealthy if he's trying to sneak up on prey, as he is a pterosaur with hunting instincts already driven into him. But I can imagine that in his downtime, he is going to let everyone know where his location is with how noisy he is. Luckily, I designed Volt to be an ally with Maddie's little sister, Maggie. Meet Falco Pacientia 1.1, as there weren't enough changes to warrant the name 2.0. Visually, she's almost identical to Maddie, but Maggie has some subtle changes that make her more efficient in battle, and these are mostly changes suggested by comments in Maddie's debut video. Maggie's feet have raptor sickle claws for a stronger and deadlier grip. Her wings no longer have owl feathers, as silent flight has more downsides than benefits. So unfortunately, Maggie is not weak to a falcon with a Nerf gun. Her bite force still comes from the Deinonychus, but the beak no longer has teeth, as many people said they were unnecessary. And since the bat is all we need for iron distribution, the shrew has been relieved of duty and has been swapped out for the honey badger, providing venom resistance and a thicker yet more flexible skin, so Maggie isn't as frail as her big sister. Together, Volt and Maggie have practiced multiple strategies to become the dominant air force, such as Maggie catching up with faster targets and slowing them down so that Volt can catch up and do his thing. Or Volt can use his noisy nature to his advantage, acting as a really loud diversion. So the enemy is focused on him instead of Maggie, who can swoop in and do her thing. And when they're not taking out enemies, they can just chat. Ravens can also some sounds, though not as great as parrots can.
Hi. Hi. Good boy.
Granted, none of them will probably understand what either of them are saying since the words really mean nothing to them, but it'll be funny to watch. And thus, you have your combatants for the Sky Hybrid Wars. However, the war hasn't officially started just yet. This video was just to introduce you to the stars of the show. The rules and details of the war will be revealed in another video on July 1st. That's right, I'm starting this whole event on Canada Day, and one day before Rebirth releases in Canada. But if you have ideas or suggestions to make Volt and Maggie stronger or more efficient at their respective tasks, whether it involves adding, swapping, or removing certain components, please let me know. I know that's a weird request considering most of you are going to be trying to take these guys down, but let's be real. There's no point in starting a hybrid war if the stars of the show have exploitable weaknesses. So yeah, that seems to be everything I had planned for this video. Thanks for all the support. We recently hit 6K subs a few days ago. I'm quite happy about that, thank you. If you want to see a few more of my hybrid designs, I recommend giving Jua Fixes a watch. Or if you want to take a break from the science and see something goofy, then just watch literally any other video I upload. But until then, me and my birds will see you on July 1st. Good.
I found you!
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video from beginning to end. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel and join the Zainreborn community. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.